I'm going to preview the Baylor versus Kansas State football game, which literally will be played October 4th at 11 a.m. Central Time on ESPN+. Baylor is currently favored by 6.5. The over/under for this game is 62.5. Kansas State is 2-3 overall, 1-1 in Big 12. Their first conference game was in Week 0 against Iowa State. They won a recent matchup against UCF. While Baylor's 3-2 overall and 1-1 in the Big 12, they did defeat Oklahoma State 45-27. You could argue that Kansas State could be 1-4 right now, if not for that one possession against North Dakota that they had to get a miracle comeback win. You could argue that, but you could also argue they could be undefeated because look how many one-score games have they played. I would honestly treat them as dangerous. Just kind of like that at the end of the year last year when Baylor played Kansas, honestly. Because look how many one-possession games did they play a year ago. So I'm just saying. And it didn't help that they played in Week 0. Then they had North Dakota. I think part of it is like travel. Like coming back. And then playing without a break in the action. And then they played against Army, and they only had like 2 possessions offensively in the second half. I know, crazy. And I know they have dealt with injuries. Though one of their key guys is back now in the last few games. So what are some players to keep an eye on? And first things first, Lou Brown, the fourth for Baylor, is redshirting this year. It's not like due to injury. It was a mutual decision because of the guys ahead of them and guys emerging. In a year from now, you need some guys that are proven from other programs, and this would help. And we have to, of course, we would hope that he would stay, but Baylor would retain him. But still, just to making a note right there. Same thing goes for like Omar Abedian. We don't know the injury stats for both of these teams, though I have a good idea on who's in, who's out, who's questionable, type of that. Now, offensively, they run like a spread offense, so it is physical. They average 26.2 points per game, 77 first downs, 139.6 rushing yards per game, 203.8 passing yards per game, time possessions 26 minutes. I don't know why online it said 25 minutes and 60 seconds. That does not make sense to me. So that's why I kind of assumed 26 minutes. 21 for 62 on third down, 6 for 15 on fourth down allowed, 4 sacks, 26 tackles for loss, 23 pass breakups, 13 quarterback hurries, 2 interceptions, 4 fumbles, average 2 deep on the offensive line, 305.1 pounds. I know they have lost some guys due to injury. I mean, they have injuries there, and they lost some guys from the year prior. I know. Now, Avery Johnson, number 5, 6'3", 196-pound quarterback. That's a junior. 95 completions out of 152 attempts for 1,019 yards with 8 touchdowns and 1 interception. 37 rushing attempts for 137 yards with 2 touchdowns. I will say he ran the ball more last game than he had been prior to that. That was probably the reason why they struggled on the ground. They did actually have somebody else like had a package with Blake Barnett, number 13, 6 foot, 220-pound quarterback. That's a freshman. 5 rushing attempts for 23 yards. Just to go over that. So don't be surprised if they use that package. Now Dylan Edwards, yeah, he was banged up for a while, and then he played last game and he emerged. So number 3, 5'9", 170-pound running back. That's a junior. 24 rushing attempts for 179 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 reception for 5 yards. There's Joe Jackson, number 4, 6 foot, 212-pound running back. That's a sophomore. 35 rushing attempts for 142 yards with 1 touchdown and 5 receptions for 30 yards with 1 touchdown. And might as well just go over one more running back, and that's Devon Rice, number 23, 5'9", 182-pound running back. That's a freshman. 18 rushing attempts for 77 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 receptions for 27 yards. And y'all could check out the stats in the description below on the outlook on them. Now, Jace Brown did play last game, though he exited early due to injury, so he is questionable. Number 1, 6 foot, 179 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. 25 receptions for 284 yards with 2 touchdowns and 3 rushing attempts for 104 yards with 1 touchdown. That would be a big loss if he doesn't play. There's Jerron Tibbs, number 12, 6 foot 2 inch, 212 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. 21 receptions for 229 yards with 2 touchdowns. And Jerron Bradley hasn't played since that Army game, so he is questionable going into this matchup. And we'll have to wait and see if both of these guys will play, or one or the other, or neither will play for Kansas State down the line here. We'll have to wait and see. Number 5, 6 foot 5 inch, 223 pound wide receiver. That's a senior. 10 receptions for 152 yards with 1 touchdown. I would say without both of those guys, it would limit them a lot. It would limit them. There's Garrett Oakley, number 86, 6 foot 5 inch, 248 pound tight end. That's a junior. 14 receptions for 146 yards with 1 touchdown. And Will Swanson, number 83, 6 foot 5 inch, 244 pound tight end. That's a senior. 3 receptions for 51 yards. This is Adonis Moise, number 17, 5 foot 10 inch, 187 pound wide receiver. That's a freshman. 4 receptions for 32 yards. And I might as well go over like 2 more guys, and that's really it. And there's Braden Lofton, number 87, 6 foot 5 inch, 230 pound tight end. That's a junior. 3 receptions for 31 yards. And Sterling Lockett, number 6, 5 foot 10 inch, 169 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. 1 reception for 13 yards. Now defensively, they run a 3-3-5. They have allowed 26.5 points per game. They allowed 83 first downs, 181.6 rushing yards per game. That's been part of the struggle on defense. And 181 passing yards per game as well. Though I think in this game, Baylor is going to get more than 181 yards. Let's just be real about that. I would think. Time possession, 34 minutes, 4 seconds. Something like that. 29 for 81 on 3rd down. 11 for 16 on 4th down. 32 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, 21 pass breakups, 21 quarterback hurries, 3 interceptions, 5 fumbles, blocked the kick this year. I was too deep on a 2/3 defensive line. Is 292 pounds, and you could check in particular on the nose tackle on the right defensive end, and the left defensive end, just to make things go faster. So Austin Romaine, number 45, 6 foot 2 inch, 245 pound linebacker. That's a junior. 41 tackles, 26 solo. 3.5 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hurries, 2 pass breakups, and 1 fumble recovery. There's Desmond Parnell, number 32, 6 foot, 232 pound linebacker. That's a senior. 29 tackles, 21 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hurries, and 1 pass breakup. VJ Payne, number 7, 6 foot 3 inch, 280 pound safety. That is a senior. 29 tackles, 18 solo, 2.5 tackles for loss, and 1 pass breakup. There's Zashawn Rich, number 25. 6 foot 1 inch, 209 pound CB. That's a sophomore. 22 tackles, 18 solo, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 6 pass breakups. There's Tosi Osunan on Sami, Osunansami. Apologize if I butchered that. Number 44, 6 foot 3 inch, 250 pound linebacker. That's a junior. 19 tackles, 13 solo, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries, and forced one fumble. This is Leslie Fair, number 18, 6 foot 1 inch, 200 pound safety. That is a sophomore. 17 tackles, 13 solo, and 1 pass breakup. There's Qua Moss, number 6, 5 foot 10 inch, 185 pound safety. That's a junior. 15 tackles, 12 solo, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 1 pass breakup, and forced 1 fumble. There's Logan Bartley, number 18, 6 foot 1 inch, 213 pound safety. That's a freshman. 14 tackles, 8 solo, and 0.5 tackles for loss. There's Donovan McIntosh, number 9, 6 foot 3 inch, 194 pound CB. That's a sophomore. 13 tackles, 10 solo, and 2 pass breakups. There's Gabe Powers, number 35, 6 foot 3 inch, 237 pound linebacker. That is a junior. 12 tackles, 5 solo, 0.5 tackles for loss, and 1 quarterback hurry. There's Yuso Sumalo, number 99, 6'3", 340 pound defensive tackle. That's a senior. 12 tackles, 5 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup. There's Rex Van Y, WYHE, number 28, 6'5", 236 pound linebacker. That's a junior. 11 tackles, 5 solo. There's Chidi Oberdizer, number 8, 6'6", 275 pound defensive end. That's a sophomore. 11 tackles, 7 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hurries, and 1 fumble recovery. And Cody Steffelbein, number 47, 6'4", 260 pound defensive end. That's a senior. 10 tackles, 6 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hurries, and forced 1 fumble. There's Daniel Cobb, number 4, 5'10", 190 pound safety. That's a junior. 9 tackles, 6 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass breakup. From here, I'm going to just go like defensive tackles and the defensive line, just to make things go a little bit faster here. And it's Damian Leo, number 56, 6'1", 296 pound defensive tackle. That's a sophomore. 8 tackles, 5 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 0.5 sacks. There's Travis Bates, number 39, 6'3", 269 pound defensive end. That's a junior. 8 tackles, 6 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 1 pass breakup, and 4 quarterback hurries. And the last guy I'm really going to go over is Jordan Allen, number 91, 6'4", 262 pound defensive end. That's a sophomore. 5 tackles, 2 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack. Now, I'm going to just go with special teams real fast here. There's Luis Rodriguez, who had to step up for them because of injuries at kicker. It's number 43, 6'1", 200 pound kicker. That's a sophomore. 6 for 6 on field goals, 4 for 4 on 30 to 39 yards, 1 for 1 on 40 to 49 yards, and 1 for 1 on over 50 yards, and the longest 51 yards, and made all 15 extra points. There's Simon McLaughlin, number 8, 5'10", 5'11", 109 pound punter slash kicker. That's a sophomore. 19 punts for 856 yards. 8 of those landed inside the 20-yard line, and 7 of those went over 50 yards. Now, obviously, whatever you did right last game, you got to bring into this game. Whatever you did wrong last game, you got to correct in this game. And I would not treat this Kansas State team lightly, despite their record, because I do think they're a dangerous team with their talent, especially at the quarterback position. Just saying. Sure, there might be some questionable calls here and there, but at the end of the day, you got to make plays to win and be more mentally tougher team. You got to keep your calm and composure. You don't want to have like personal foul targeting. Limit those penalties as much as possible. And if they do penalties, it's really all no. You got to win the turnover battle for a change. That would really help. Or stay even with them. That would really help. You got to make adjustments on the fly, both offensively and defensively, not just from first quarter, second quarter, and not from first half to second half, but during those quarters as well. Special teams wise, you got to stay solid. Don't have special teams blunders or give up big special teams plays like a punt return touchdown, kick return touchdown, block punt, block field goal, blocked extra point, and then they return it for 2 points. I'm just saying, defensively, this is going to be a game that Baylor needs to find a way to make Avery Johnson try to beat them through the air. And you got to limit the rushing yards. And bring that second half defense from the Oklahoma State game into this one. And I get Oklahoma State's offense is worse than Kansas State, but the point being, you got to bring it there, create some havoc plays, force turnovers. You got to shut down the best wide receivers. Like I said, run game, you got to be good in the third down defense, fourth down defense if needed. You got to be good in the red zone defense as well. And get some sacks, get some tackles for loss. And don't allow easy throws they might put a quarterback spy in. Don't be surprised if they do some trick plays. And you got to be better with trick plays on defense. Against them. I'm just saying. Now, offensively, you got to take care of the ball that you really need to do better than, since the last few games here have been turnover problems. Offensively, you got to take care of the ball better. You got to get this game going just to help Sawyer out some. You got to win those like 50-50 balls in the air and make contested catches. Of course, if you can make a play on the ball on defense, create it, get a pick. And of course, don't drop passes on offense. You got to have your offensive line step up on the pass blocking. This is besides tight ends if they need a block. And you got to do good on your blocking as a wide receiver on screen plays or even just run plays in general. Same thing goes for tight ends on the screens. You got to run your routes really well. And if Sawyer needs to take off and run, he should just do that. That would really open up this offense. And we'll see about Bryson Washington. I know he got dinged up a little bit, but it sounds like he's going to be okay. But still, it would be huge to have some other running backs step up besides him, like a Caden Knight and Michael Turner and Joseph Dodds. That would really help a lot in this game. And this is a game right here that I don't think Kansas State wants this game to be in the 30s or even the 40s. Forget the 40s for sure. They want to try to limit the game as much as possible, I would think, by making their offense the best defense. So the defense needs to find a way to get some stops and get some turnovers. And that way the offense, if they could just protect the ball and play complementary football, that would really help in this type of game. And you got to make your extra points, make your field goals as well, and punt the ball well, just to pin them deep in their own territory. There's no need to go more into this game here, and this is the last game for Baylor before a bye week. And for Kansas State, they will play TCU next game. I really highly doubt Kansas State's going to hold Baylor below 200 yards passing in this type of game. I really would doubt it, especially with the weapons they got at wide receiver and quarterback and even running back as a pass catcher, and even the Michael Treg or Matthew Konfenstein. I really doubt it. So this is going to be a test of who's going to get the biggest stop of the football. Biggest stop in the football game. You got to be really good offensively in the red zone and third down, and try to get yourself into manageable situations on second and third down, and be good on fourth down if you need to take any fourth down plays, which I hope there's not going to be a lot, but still. And maybe you should take the points in some of these in this type of game. You might want to, because what if Kansas State wants to try to limit the time of possession? And if you could win the time of possession, that would really help in this type of game and get a lot of plays off. That way the Kansas State defense will be worn down, and it would help the Baylor defense some. And you got to have your key players step up in this type of game, and your role players as well, and it's next man up mentality for those players filling in for the injured players. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Goals, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. Some of my this course like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm so more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well.